We'd like to call the Plaquemine Parish Council meeting together. We're going to start a prayer, and while we're praying, we want to pray for very special servants, Ms. Melinda Hayes, who served this parish real well. So let's keep her in our family prayer. Let us pray. Oh, gracious and humble God, we thank you for your traveling grace to this place. Dear God, as we start a new year for council, God, we pray that all of us, dear God, come with clear hearts and clear minds, dear God. Dear God, we pray that we put aside all partisan politics and all those things, dear God. And dear God, we be humble with each other, God. Put away all of our animosity, God, and replace it with humility, dear God. All of our prejudice with unprejudiced, dear God. And dear God, we come in very true meaning to one nation under God. Very true meaning that we the people, God. And dear God, that we come to God with mercy in our heart, dear God, and remember the people who elected us to this position, dear God. And we always keep in mind, dear God, that we not only represent our district, but we represent the whole parish. God, we pray that the relationship between this parish administrator and this council be a better relationship than it was in years past, dear God. That we can put aside all of our difference and start afresh and start anew. So God, we ask these and all other blessings in your darling son Jesus' name, and all those who love you said amen. Amen. We have the pledge by the champagne.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. I am so excited for this historical moment in my life, but I want to thank Councilman Champagne, Councilman Chose, my used to be neighbor, will be in a few minutes, Councilwoman Patty, Councilmember Newsom, Councilmember LaFrance, have all of them, and my man Mitch, for your unanimous support of me in position. But I want to thank not only my great administrative system, but all the parish administrative assistants for all the support they give to me. When I'm and my good sister, we go way back, Kim, and all of you for your patience. I've grown in these 2 years. I'm still newbie, I'm still fresh behind here. But I think all of you all to give me some guidance in some kind of way, put up with me. You know, I can be very passionate, aggressive, but spite of all, I really appreciate this moment, and I'm not here if it wasn't for your support. And I hope I can serve this position honor as so many other people came before me. So with that being said, okay, we're going to bypass executive session. We're going to do that on the end. That's my understanding, Rini. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call, thank you. Where my name at? Thank you.
Is it still?
Roll call, that's it.
David McCarty.
And I forgot to mention Dr. Gui is not with us, he's under the weather, so let's pray for Dr. Gui. We good?
All right, agenda item 3, proclamations. This will be deferred. 4, administration updates.
Happy New Year's to all. I guess this is calling on me right now. Welcome back, and really looking forward to this coming year, working together like Councilman Edwards just alluded to there. So on behalf of the administration, we look forward to working with you. I think we established that yesterday in our meeting, how, we had our first agenda meeting, and I thought it went really well. On the administration side here, code enforcement, we're moving forward with establishing a dedicated code enforcement. We are creating and developing guidelines to help residents understand the new code enforcement rules. Hardware is being installed to support the enforcement program currently managed by the Zach Smith Group. So what will happen in the future, our code enforcement officers, they will have a like a iPad of sorts there. They'll be able to take pictures of the situations. They'll be able to report on that. And then in the day before a hearing, they will go out and inspect that property again. So a lot of times the folks will say, oh, I've taken care of that in a way that code enforcement agent, the person can say, well, look, I was there at 8 o'clock this morning and the situation is still the same. Economic development. We're creating a greenfield inventory is under review. This is as part of a strategic sites inventory that we're creating for Plaquemines Parish. These are greenfields for future development in the parish. These sites are critical because they are what attracts businesses, and that's what fosters economic development. Communities without these competitive greenfield sites, you take a chance on losing future projects. So this is something moving forward. This is us thinking forward and looking into the future here for Plaquemines Parish. We've selected Miss Lacey Landrum as a senior project manager with ELOS. She is with a grant writing firm. She is coming in. We've met with her a couple of times already. She will be coming in, I believe, at the first meeting, our first directors meeting in February, in January, the last one. In a couple of weeks, we'll be going over any type of grants that we've been discussing here in the past, and so we'll be able to move forward with that program. Infrastructure, the Myrtle Grove Wood Park levee. The final inspections were completed January 8th. Semi-annual operation reports are required with periodic core inspections, like I've discussed with Reverend Edwards yesterday. There's levees inspections that are handled on a quarterly basis, and then there's also some levee inspections that are handled on a biannual situation there. So this is something that we have done, and since we come into with this administration, is that we have put a focus on our levee systems, and thanks to you and guys and Patty for appreciating that fact, is that we are now moving forward with a true and bona fide levee department, so that every day when someone wakes up, they get up and their focus in life is on our levees, which is crucial and which is important for Plaquemines Parish, because without levees, we wouldn't exist here. The East Bank, the Corps is starting to begin a concrete slope pavement repairs starting in January the 21st, and I believe it's a 6-week program. So they're going to do as much as they can in 6 weeks, and then they'll be moving on. The boat slip repairs, Empire Shipyard, I believe that was finished yesterday, or it's like a day or so. It's real close. So that's something that I know Mitch has. I want to thank you for your due diligence on that. You know, I asked you, you're there to stay, really watch over it, and you've done that, and thank you for that. And then the East Point Lahash, those boat slip repairs, they're underway. So this project, it might be in a couple, maybe 6 months or so. This first phase will be completed, but after that, there will be several other projects that will be coming down in the pipeline as well. So that's what I have now. Billy, if you want to take it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Councilman Edwards. Councilman Edwards, congratulations on your new position. I wish you the best. Going forward with operations update, drainage repair, replacement work that was going on in District 7, we discussed last meeting. It's replacing metal drain pipes all over on the south side, Phase 1, as well as the Audubon Street side on the north side of that. Within the next 2 weeks, that'll be 100% complete, the whole thing. They're finishing up a couple mortaring around the drain boxes, and then they're going to come back with that new asphalt on Audubon, and that'll be complete over there. Street concrete repairs, it's multiple districts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Schlief Drive was the priority to try to get done during the holidays with no school, because that was a major blocking of the whole street itself. That was completed. Of course, they took it down to the wire and did it last day. Next is going to be moving on to all of the smaller stuff, all the different curb repairs in that Belle Chase area in those districts. Barrier Road's going to be the worst with all the alphabet streets. If you're familiar with those, they have some serious repairs, but none of them will cause the whole street to be blocked. It's going to be half street type situations, one lane. Same, no changes. We discussed last meeting, the Port Sulphur package will be 90 days or so before that starts getting put out, and then 90 to 100 days will be the East Bank package. The Marina Boat Harbor stuff, Mr. President touched on a couple of them. The Point LaHash Marina, those renovations are still underway. All of the back slips, open back slips, have been removed, and the new slips are underway, or not slips, but the piers themselves. The metal roofing, all the bad metal roofing was replaced. They still have some touch-ups to do on most of that stuff, but all the old stuff was removed, new stuff was reapplied. The only thing left in that marina for renovations is basically the front side of that with the open slips, and water line repairs and backflow preventer repairs were all done except for that same section up in the front. And the issue with that is the private marina in the back is fed by that same water line. So we've been trying to accommodate that business. Once we get to the last part of that job, we'll negotiate with him and communicate what needs to be done. If he would be shut down on water, how long he would be shut down. We're going to do the best we can to work with him on that. The Empire Boat Slip Lift, the president mentioned, I'd call it about 98%. When we look at the job like Mitch, I know he does the same thing, Councilman Juristich, finished means finished. It's not really finished. The major stuff is done, yes, but you still can't access it today. So it's not finished to me, and I'm sure it's not finished to you. But within, I would say 2 weeks is, I'm told a week, but I know weather's coming, some rain's coming. It will be completely finished up to the dressing of the site itself. So hopefully they follow through with that. The Empire Boat Harbor, those pier replacements are all underway. We divided that harbor into multiple sections, call them phase. We couldn't shut down the whole boat harbor. Boats still have to go in and out. So we're starting from the deepest end, going to work our way out. That'll help with moving boats around from slip to slip. Buras, Venice boat harbors also have Ida recovery projects on the list. These other projects will be done and we'll be moving to the Buras and Venice boat harbors. Probably not at the same time, but we'll prioritize with you which one you want to start first, Mr. Kognovich, and then we'll go from there. Operations meetings with department heads have begun this week. That means me talking to the superintendents and department heads. We discussed 2024, good, the bad, and ugly. And when these meetings are completed, we'll move forward with 2025 plans. I'll have those plans printed out, give them to you. You guys will all see what we're doing, what changes we're making, how we're going to move forward doing ditches and drainage and grass cutting and any issues like that. I'll ask for your input. If you want to do it a different way, we'll work with you any kind of way you want to do that. I will have an ask of you, and that's going to be to prioritize some of these things. Obviously, we can't start in Venice and work ditches all the way up. So each one of your districts, you have to prioritize where you want us to start. And if you want us to do 5 in this area and then move to a different area, we'll go out of our way to accommodate you as long as it makes sense for everybody. I think that concludes the operations update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. I pray that your holidays were great. Reverend Edwards, congratulations on your seat. You've been here many, many years. I'm not going to say how many because then I'll be telling on myself. Okay, on the finance side, as everyone is aware, the 2025 budget book is available on the parish's website. When you go on there, click on All Government and Budget Information, and you'll see the adopted budget there. On the human resources side, we are now having open enrollment for voluntary benefits. It started on Monday, January 6th, and it's going to run through tomorrow, January 10th. Those benefits are long-term and short-term disability, universal life, cancer, and critical insurance policies, and there are other products also available. But now is the time to enroll if anyone's interested in enrolling, and for more information, you can reach out to the Human Resources Department. Just want to put out a reminder to the residents of Plaquemines that the Department of Children and Family Services has an office here on the complex, on the government complex in Building 600. That office is open from 8 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. There are benefits to apply for there, SNAP, LACAP. There's also services for elderly members of our community, financial assistance, and like I said, they're there from 8 in the morning till 2:30 in the evening. Finance also emailed out this week the 2025 mileage reimbursement forms. There's a change to the amount that we're paying for mileage, and of course, this lines up with the IRS compliance. So if you did not receive these forms, please let finance know. That's all I have.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year, Reverend Edwards. Congratulations. We look forward to a great year. Excuse me. For the public service update, on permits, round 4 of the non-compliance letters for non-compliant RV parks should be going out next week. There's approximately 14 notices that will be mailed out. The previous rounds were pretty successful. All but one of the round 3 came into compliance, either moved the RVs or went through the proper permitting process. One is still in discussion. Mr. Witchers hit on the concrete package in Belchase. That's underway. Entergy was had scheduled for this past Tuesday to repair that all of the lights on Civic Drive. Councilman LaFrance, I don't know if I haven't had an update on that, but they were replacing 2 or 3 transformers. That whole line was down. There were vines growing up one of the poles and all around a couple of the transformers. They were supposed to go from the library up front all the way around and hit all of the lights all the way to the deficient pier. Hopefully, let's see, I just got an update. One of them still isn't working, so I'll get Entergy back there to take care of that. Infomark, last year during the saltwater intrusion event, when the booster station, the temporary booster station came online, it was discovered that there was some issues in the Cedar Grove area, from Cedar Grove to Alliance, that was preventing water being pushed through that area. Through different tests, Infomark, with a contractor, was able to identify a major valve on the 20-inch line going through that area that was closed. It wasn't identified. They did some pressure testing in that area, and they did identify that valve. They opened it, and the result was a significant volume of water being received in Port Sulphur at the reservoir. So much so that they had to adjust the booster pump. It was actually pumping more water in than they anticipated. So hopefully, moving forward, that'll alleviate some of the pressure issues and the amount of water, or it'll increase the usage, the amount of water that we're able to transmit to the public. Water meter replacement. Back in mid to early December, Infomark started replacing some of the larger water meters, the commercial meters, 3-inch and above. They replaced approximately 15 or 16. Here in the next week or so, we'll be getting a first month reading, and that'll give us a better understanding of where we are as far as increased revenues. After 5 or 6 years, these meters kind of lose calibration. They never speed up, they slow down, so we're losing revenue with those. And they identified quite a few, they've changed them, and here in the next couple of weeks, we'll get a better understanding of what we can anticipate in increased revenues from those. Back at the last meeting, I mentioned that the Woodlawn Fire Station updates, it came in over budget. We had a meeting with the contractor, and no significant changes to the scope of work. I know Councilman Champagne had some questions about that, and I appreciate him stepping up. And we don't want to cut anything from the fire stations and the upgrades, but there was no significant change to the scope of work. I'd say 99% of the cuts were just using other manufacturers, using other wholesalers, and it just cut the cost. No cuts to the scope of work. I'll be happy to share those notes with y'all and give you a breakdown of where the cuts came, but we're still on track with the quality of work that's going to be put into that fire station. And with that, that's what I have for public service. If y'all have any other questions or need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And again, congratulations, Reverend Edwards, on your new position. For the Arts, Parks, and Recreation report, I would like to report that soccer registration is open. It opened on Monday, December 16th, and it will remain open until next Friday, January 17th. The season schedule will be released on January 13th, allowing parents an opportunity to plan accordingly their schedule should they wish their youth to participate. The schedule will include days for games only. So as an example, when we release what days of the week the games will be held, they may be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So parents will know kind of what days of the week to plan for games, so that will help them plan better as they're registering. And that came out as a request from coaches and parents. At the last meeting, I mentioned that the Adult League registration for 2025 would open on December 31st. Due to some scheduling issues trying to expand the offering dates, we're going to open registration for on or before January 31st for open basketball and open pickleball. And we're working to increase the dates and times where programs will be offered, so to allow for more than just one day a week for those programs. Also, as a reminder, the Pilot Arts, Parks, and Recreation Summer Program Partnership application is still open. We have an ad and an article in the Gazette that's been running and have had a few applicants apply to partner with us on services. So just letting everyone know that that application is still open. And if anyone has any questions or needs more information, they can contact the Recreation Office. We currently have pre-construction repairs and updates at 4 parks across the parish. Those sites include Diamond Park, Lake Park Trails off of Avenue A, Roger Halpin, and Leroy Harvey Parks. Another update is the rental process and the rental books for the Bell Chase Pavilion and Multipurpose Center is now going through the Recreation Department. So if anyone is looking to book the indoor pavilion and multipurpose center, those requests would now come through Recreation instead of buildings. So we've been getting a lot of calls. Miss Jane, who's the supervisor in buildings, has been sending everyone to us when they're calling buildings. So I just want everyone to know that we are receiving calls for that building, and to just bear with us as our team processes all this influx of requests and as we learn how to navigate booking in that building. But we are doing pretty well, and just wanting the public to know how that's going to work moving forward. And then that concludes my report for Arts, Parks, and Recreation.
Thank you. I would like to just shift gears for a minute. We have the new director, Coastal, Kim Buck, and we just, because it's a new department and some new things that happen, we just going to have her to give a report or whatever she want to do, just to let us know what's happening in this new area, our new endeavors.
Our definite new endeavors. Alrighty. Well, as the president spoke, we had the final inspection on a Myrtle Grove Wood Park levee Eastgate drainage structure, which was done on Wednesday, January 8th, with the Corps, CPRA, B&K Construction, and Plaquemines Parish Government. So this means starting next week that Plaquemines Parish Government will be responsible for the OM, RR, and R. In other words, it's required that we complete semi-annual operations reports, and the Corps will periodically inspect the structure through the Inspection Completed Works program. So that is something that everyone keep in mind, because that will now be ours to take control of. The back levee completion is taking place today with All South Hard Rock Construction, CPRA, and Plaquemines Parish Government. Now we will be responsible once more for controlling that back levee system, and we are responsible for grass cutting, sod replacement, and there is also rock replacements on both sides of the ramps where the gas pipeline is. They're going to be doing site visits and making sure that we are maintaining our portion. Fourth quarter levee inspections. The report is due on January 15th. The inspection is absolutely completed, and CES yearly contract is coming up, so we'll be taking care of that again. But they are now inputting it into a new core system. So this will be the first report updated into that new system. So we're hoping that there aren't going to be any problems. And let's see, the big one, WBV will be starting next month. Our
And what
first
WV, that
West Bank and vicinity. So it's a multi-parish project with the Corps for levee lifting, floodgate controls, and we're going to be starting out with, I want to say, St. Charles Parish, and we pay 18% of that inspection. So throughout, I gave y'all packages a couple months ago before the holidays that explained the WBV system, and all the 5 parishes involved. Plaquemines Parish does have a portion between 15, 12, and 18% that we pay for, except the Algiers levee district, because we pay 100% of that. So that will be kicking off soon. So if you have any additional questions for that, just please let me know and we can re-go over that. Anything else?
I'm good.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the audience?
Clarence Brooks, 156 Enos Campbell Lane. To Reverend Edwards, Chairman Edwards, congratulations. And I think you're going to do a real good job. But my opinion on this, it's just my opinion. That's what I'm trying to say. Just everything I said today, and what I said over the years. I've been doing this for 3 years. I'm still not good at it. So, and I like to thank Mr. Schultz from guiding me many times when I come up here not knowing the facts or what they're talking about. I'll be talking about apples, they be talking about oranges. But I apologize for some of that stuff, but some of it I don't. The code enforcement. They said they got the new code enforcement, and I want y'all to understand, on that East Bank, there is a lot of low-income people over there. I could tell you one mobile home right now, if you see it right now, you think it, when they come out with them computers and taking pictures, they're going to take a picture of that place and they're going to say it's an abandoned building. But that's people living in that place. They can't afford it. They don't have the money to keep the grass cut. And they don't have the money. They got a tarp on the top of the mobile home that's been there for years. because they can't afford to fix the roof. I know they said, Dr. Gui said they're going to have some funds to help people clean up their yards and stuff like that, and replace, help them out, because they know we are on the East Bank, we are low income. A lot of these rules should not, we cannot follow them. We want to abide by the rules, but we can't. We have a choice of keeping the grass, paying somebody to cut this high grass, or getting something to eat. They're going to take care of it. They're going to feed the children first. So there's a lot of homes on that East Bank that were damaged by hurricanes, and they can't afford to repair them. So when you come and tell them, these people, that they got to repair these things, or you're going to be fined, and the fine's going to they can't pay them. So the fine's going to go to probably go to their tax. And the tax, they don't pay the taxes because the fine's going to the tax. The tax going to wind up, you're going to have their land on for sale. That's what I see what's going to, but that's my opinion. But they can't afford it. So the code enforcement, you got to look at it real close when you come to that East Bank. I know you got to do your job. In economic development, there is no economic development on our side of the river on the East Bank for us. We can't afford to put up any kind of building because of the rules. The levies, they say it also, you're doing a good job. But you're doing it a little too good. It's hurting us. I heard everything about the West Bank, but the levees and the floodgates. We don't even have floodgates on our side of the river. You got to remember, from Pontohast to Phoenix, there's a levee going all the way around, and from White Ditch to Phoenix, there is no back levee. But from White Ditch to Breakaway, there's another levee going all the way around. So if the water come in, there is no way for the water to get out. And the pumping system is not all that great. Not all that great. Our drainage are real bad. We don't have 100% on each one of the pumping stations. So all this is repeating, same stuff I've been repeating for years after year after year. We're not getting no progress. That's why I got to repeat it. If you don't say it over and over, y'all might not. If I say it over and over, you might hear that what I'm saying, and somebody might do something about it. They say there's a lot of money going to be put on levees on the West Bank. You got to remember, for Katrina, the water came over our levees and destroyed every home from Pontohast to Phoenix. And 90% of the people down there live in mobile homes. Mobile homes are not good for 20, 30 years living in it, especially when you got kids. So, I got 10 more seconds. Like I said, that's all I got. I got some more stuff, but I can't carry it all in 5 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Arthur Henry, Belchase. Ms. Buck, on the levee inspection with conjunction with the Corps, on those inspections, are those inspections made public, or are they kept with the Corps?
It is a report that's turned into the Corps.
And so if the public want to get a hold to it, they have to go through the Corps, or?
You would have to go through the Corps.
Okay. That the people needed to know. All right.
Any other comments? Mr. Conover?
First, I'd like to thank everybody who called or came the other day. I appreciate it. Getting back to this, Christmas got a bunch of calls about flooding in Venice. After that, that's when I found out we down to one pump at the Bootville pump station. What's going on with it?
It's still under repair. That's the one that has that big giant bearing issue. And the issue where the bearing is, it's not a quick repair. The whole pump has to be disassembled, which also drives up the cost plenty. But that's one of the ones on the list. When you get the January 1st of the year report on pump stations, you'll see it. But it's sometimes they come and go. Now, it's not 100% completely shut down, but we only want to use it if it's a dire emergency and people are flooding. The situation you got down there is when yards start flooding, people start thinking everything's going to flood. And that's not exactly the case. It's important to them. They see water in their yard. We get that. But it's going to, I'll follow up with you on that one specific and then give you more details on it.
That's why it's hard to prioritize ditches
Right.
that we need, because everybody's ditch is their priority.
I get it.
And then next meeting here in Belchase, I'd like for y'all to get DOTD and Plenary here. I have questions because they just rebuilt a ramp and it's already got potholes in it. And that's unacceptable. And I couldn't make the last meeting, and I had some stuff, y'all found over $40 million that wasn't accounted for. Here we sat in November doing budget hearings with no ambulance service in the budget. So we had to get money from other places to put it in when we sit in over $40 million. I could see maybe 4,000 you miss, but 40 million? That's unacceptable. So, and we need to quit pointing, this one miscalculated, that one did this. Because when you point at somebody, you got three fingers pointing back at yourself. And I'm going to let it go right there for that, but need better work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yes, Billy, Jeff, and I guess engineering department, thank y'all for rushing. I don't want to say rushing, but getting sleep done over the holidays. I was getting nervous that it wasn't going to be open with Monday. I forgot that Monday was also a holiday for the school, so that allowed them to get open in time, because there's 3 bus stops right there, and that would have been a nightmare for the school buses. However, for the public, it kind of aggravates me because we did all this work and somebody decided to draw into the cement inappropriate pictures. And now we have to spend manpower and labor and everything to go grind out these pictures. We're doing stuff for the public, and then we got to deal with this. So, I mean, it kind of aggravates me because that has been a major issue in that area for a while, and now we got to deal with sending out somebody to grind out basically the pictures. So please, it was probably a kid or a teenager, but please try to take care of things. That's all I have to say. I yield.
Yes, Mr. President, to get with you on the shipyard slip, found a couple little issues that we need to look at closely. Just recently, I mentioned, I showed them to Billy, I showed them to Jonah. We gotta look at this, and we gotta figure something out. Seems like, they may have put lipstick on a pig, and I gotta be sure we didn't do that, and to be sure that they still got a little bit of work. They still got to fill in and bring everything up, do the landscaping, basically. Have a couple of issues I will get with Billy and Jonah and coastal engineering on before we dot the i's and cross the t's. Believe me, we
Sign off on it
till we get it the way it needs to be. But, they did get there and they finally did finish, but they're not finished. They 98%. But that other 2% is pretty important right now. So I just wanted to give you that update because of what I saw when I went and inspected myself. And Jeff, we had a water break last night on Highway 11. You're talking about increase in water pressure to Port Sulphur. Is that providing increased pressure further south as well?
No, that's going to increase the amount of water we could push, not necessarily the pressure that far down, no, sir.
Right, because I'm just concerned about those old lines if we start pressuring up high, which we need to get more water pressure down the road, don't get me wrong, because it is about, it's at least a quarter down from what it used to be, but I was concerned that maybe them pipes, because we had another one, I think, on Willow Lane that did the same thing right about the same time last night. So I don't know if there was a increase in volume or something that might have got these weak spots. But
That was a contractor that pulled a service line out of that caused that. I had a conversation with Mr. Morgan last night about that very item about the old lines. We're able to fill up that reservoir at Port Sulphur quicker now with the increase in volume. We do have to be careful going through Port Sulphur and further down with the old lines as far as increasing the pressure. We still have those situations to deal with.
Inframark was very instrumental in getting people back up and running.
Yes, yes.
They were already on it. I got another complaint about certain companies tying into fire hydrants for their own company's use, not for watering the roads or working on the contract with somebody. I need to talk to you about that because to me, I have a company, I have my own water meters and my own water source. I should not be pulling from a metered hydrant. In fact, I'm about tired of these metered hydrants. It's almost time to say, hey, you need water for your company, put in your commercial water meter, and that's the way we're going to charge it. Not just let 3 different trucks pull up to this meter hydrant, and next thing you know, how are we charging for that? Who knows who's taking what? So it's a concern, and of course the general public sees this truck pulled up to it, then they see the next truck with another company name on it pulled up to that meter, and it's just things that we have to correct this, and the way I see correct it is pull the metered hydrants, pull the meters off the hydrants and close them off, and tell them supply, get your own water tap and put it in. I just wanted to say, that's been a complaint I've gotten lately.
If anybody, the public or any of you guys get reports of people pulling out of the hydrant, please let us know. We don't know what we don't know. Please let us know, and we'll investigate it and do our best to take care of it.
Okay, thank you for that. And Ashley, one quick one for you. I know it's too cold to mess with water, but we got the splash pad in Empire. And once the summer, I know now's not a real good time to mess with it either because we could get freezes and stuff like that. But I just wanted any update if y'all plan with the repairs, a time frame. Oh, yeah, okay. Habbo needs it ready for tomorrow.
I spoke with Inframark about the issue that we were having over at Empire for the splash pad, and they were going to check into the leak that we had. And I was informed that they had worked it out and that we shouldn't have the issue any longer. So once the weather conditions improve, my team will go over and we'll make a plan to make sure that it's up and running when we start for the summer. So it's
All right,
good.
sounds good, because I know the kids will be looking forward to it.
Oh, goodness, that'll be great. Thank
A lot
you.
of people use that little park. You'd be surprised.
Oh, no, I'm sure.
Doing a terrific job of keeping it up. The garbage has been dumped. It's clean. The grass is cut. I appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you all.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start with Mr. Marco, please. I have a few issues in Fort St. Leon North. There are mumblings of people asking about why Entergy has been there and was there a line break and things of that sort. Do you know anything about that? I couldn't answer.
Where specifically?
I think it was on Planters Canal Road.
I do not, but I will find out. On Planters Canal
I believe that's
Road?
where they were talking. Yeah.
I do not. I haven't heard anything. Was it an outage? Were they replacing anything?
They were asking me why were they there, and because people were digging again along Belchase Highway, they were wondering if they broke another line to something.
Was there any reports of outages?
I didn't look into that yet.
Okay.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay. If there were outages of some sort,
But
when specifically was this?
a few days ago, I couldn't say specifically, but I was wondering if they were there because of that light pole that is teetering.
I will request some information and get that to you.
So do you know anything about the light pole?
I do not. I will request some information on that as well.
So in Fort St. Leon South, the Greek Streets area, Mr. Witchers has been working on Delta Street, and I understand there may be
AT&T stuff she's about to talk about.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I understand there may be a utility box from AT&T So I was wondering if it's not an active box, can we talk to them about removing it? Because it's causing a sinkhole or something to that effect.
Rusty at Flood Control is handling that. It is an active box. We know that. It's a hot box. It's all the phone lines and everything for that neighborhood, all the internet stuff.
Okay. I'm just speaking about this so that the people who are listening will
Yeah.
understand and get the message. Ms. Morrison, has anybody looked at the Black Riviera's Park lately in the Greek Streets area?
Yes, ma'am. They should have looked at the park. I know someone was over before the holidays, so roughly like the week before and after Christmas, and made me aware of the tennis court, the nets over at the court. If that's what you're, yes, if that's what you're requesting or asking about, we have, since POs are closed, we haven't been able to order the nets, but as soon as they open, we will be placing an order to replace and repair those nets. But I have been made aware. I also have team members that are looking at parks on a weekly basis. So someone should have eyes on every park in our parish at least once a week, as far as making sure that everything is up to par, doing site visits and checks. So we have seen it and we are aware. Is there anything else you were concerned about, or?
I don't know if any of the other parks like Jesuit Bend, or if you would be interested for your park, but since we have a new grant writer, could we look and see if there might be some surveillance cameras that we could put up in the parks to make sure that there's no vandalism in the future?
Sure. Definitely I'll look into that. And then also I've been speaking with our IT department just about options for many of our facilities. So I'll make sure that that's added to priorities to check into for the year.
Okay. I thank you all.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. Happy New Year.
I want to wish everyone Happy New Year's. Mr. President, I read an article last month stating that the Jay Diamond from Chase Bank, the CEO, was visiting Plaquemine Parish, the LNG plant. Were you included in that meeting?
No, I wasn't.
You wasn't? Oh, okay.
I heard about it.
You heard about it. But I noticed in that article they said they was going to meet with local officials, and I don't know why they wouldn't have include you in that. Mr. DeMarco, do we have any legislation that states that our firehouse have to be manned 24 hours a day? Do we have any of that?
I would think that's state requirements. I don't have that exact legislation, but I can get it for you.
Because I got a report from some of the residents from Lake Hermitage that during the holidays that we didn't have any firemen at the Lake Hermitage fire station. And that was the incident what a young lady who was choking.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents was able to bring it to the fire station. And at that time, we had a fireman there was helpful to dislodge whatever was in her throat or whatever. So thank God that, we had a fireman there at that time.
Do you know an exact date?
No, but
Approximate?
I've got the information.
Okay. Please get that to me.
Mr. Witchers,
Going down
the road by Lake Hermitage, firehouse, that road, I think we do 1,000 feet. It's in bad
I think it's a little more than that, but yeah.
It's in bad shape. And don't forget, either late tonight or tomorrow, we got rain coming.
Yeah, we might have to slow down on that grading. One of the other councilmen told me today he's got a report that the people are saying we're grading too much on that road.
So just make sure that we prepare for that rain. Thank you, and I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Ms. Buck, you spoke of levee lifting, some levee lifting. Is that levee lifting, is that river levee? Is it back levee? Oh, both?
MRL, Mississippi River Levee.
Okay. We had some levee lifting probably from, that we probably been in need of a long time from, I guess it's the Oakville flood wall all the way down to Alliance. That encumbers some of my district, actually Mr. Orfan's and Mr. Juris's district. So it's really, if that can be looked at to see it lifted, I'm thinking at least probably 3 feet on that to get it probably, and I don't know the exact figures they got, but if that could be put on the list.
That's done, but it's not turned over to us yet.
It's not, yeah.
So that has been lifted, Ron. It's complete, but
Can you come to the mic?
that section, the Jesuit Bend back levee all the way to the siphon.
No, I'm talking about the river levee.
Oh, river levee.
River levee, I'm sorry. The river levee from Oakville floodgate, from Oakville flood wall all the way to Alliance Refinery is probably in some need of some lifting. And if I can be put on the list, appreciate that.
As soon as we get that report back, we'll have the actual dimensions and the height of it. So I should be getting that report by next week.
Thank you.
And it'll have all that information.
Yeah, I had
in
some
there.
residents call and they concerned this was,
By chance, was it residents riding on my levees?
no, they don't, these folks are very, they very conscious of the levees. I get plenty calls from folks that they see riding on the levees, and I'm sure the president gets calls and everybody, so no, these folks are not riding on the levees, no.
Okay. I'll definitely check out that area
Thank
and see what the actual height of
Exactly,
it is.
please. And, Mr. President, as I appreciate the grant writing progress, that's a wonderful thing for us. But as you can see, everybody talking up here, I think our number one grant position should be infrastructure. So if we can focus on that would be my focus from to our water lines and water and sewer, because the water lines are bad, but the sewer lines are probably just as bad that we don't know. Thank you. With that, I yield.
Again, I want to thank, I want to start off with Billy. I went out to the marina and you're really doing some really great work. Have you been in the marina, Mr. Brock, lately? I mean, it is unbelievable the amount of work that's been done. I was pleasantly surprised and getting some good response from the community about the work that's really being there. I'm trying to have a conversation with Mr. Besher for his little spot, but it looked tremendous.
And thank you, because look, the community has been the ones in that area that have expressed the most appreciation. It was inconvenient and still is for a couple people, but the majority of the people over there love what's going on and can't wait for it to be complete.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry?
3 Sundays in a row. 3 Sunday mornings in a row. I've been on.
Oh, okay. Mr. Brock, I just want to address a couple of things that you said, early. And again, I made it clear I'm not running for re-election, but I would really stand firmly on the 2 years I've been on this council of being an untiring voice for the East Bank of the river. Matter of fact, my councilman at that rep, the East Bank is on there. I would say that, well, there have been some progress. I just want to address that issue. While I haven't been the progress that all of us would like to see, I can say in these 2 years I've seen some tremendous progress on the East Bank of Plaquemine Parish, without any doubt. I've been fussing and fighting, and I know Bill and I done really been toenails with each other on the pumping station. Am I right about Billy? About getting permanent pumps, rather than most of the things you talk about. But on the levee piece, I know, and I talked to President Hinckley about it, and I talked to Mr. Eugene White about it. One of our first community people was talking about a lot of things was left on that back levee. And unbeknown to me, because I haven't been there, I went back and I found out that they closed off the stuff by the Scarsdale pumping station that had been a problem. And I felt like the administration didn't get any accolades for it. And I went on Facebook and thanked them, for that. And since Ms. Buck been on board, she has been up and down that levee, and some of the things they're doing going to really change that tremendously. I know the grass cut have improved tremendously than they have been in the past. There have been some progress in these 2 years. I have not been just sitting here. These council members could tell you I'm relentless when it comes from the East Bank. So I just wonder, because I heard you say that if nobody don't tell anything, nothing would happen. But I'm telling you, they can tell you I'm on this order, and administration know I'm on about the East Bank. I take it very personally that we're really doing this. So I just wanted to share those a couple of things with you. So some really, really great things. And so again, understanding, apples, and oranges. So again, that's why I'm going to commend the work on being done on the permit. Then on the levy side, the rock's going to take place. That's another big issue. The area between Phoenix to White Ditch, you could talk to Mr. Bartholomew. You could talk to Don Beshel. You could talk to P.V. Griffin. Everyone been talking about that for years and years. That is a congressional act almost to do that. But I don't know if you've been watching the highway. DOT been on that highway for last one ever since we started looking at what you call that wish list capital. With that list you sent to Baton Rouge, capital outlay, that's what they call. And so there is something for that area, whether it happened or not. But I know DOT been there consistently every day. The day I saw him out there on top of the levee to raise that road up, it take a while. John tried it, and I've been doing it. So I just want to tell you why we're not publicizing that something stuff, that we're doing, and you'll see if you ever get in to see things a whole lot different when you're on the other side. And so I just want to say that, but there is progress. I just really want to stress out all the things you're saying that you have to say over and over. There is progress being taken place on the East Bank of the river. So I just personally have to take exception to say that. And I know some great progress have taken place over the 2 years I've been here. Was where we like it to be? No. But it's some great progress has been made, and we're still on economic development. Mr. Marco could tell you, me and her have been back and forth on that. She have came to our office and meditation there. And you could talk to other members of the community. We've been talking about economic development, for East Bank. Even submitted some stuff to her. So I'm looking forward to that. Whether it happened in these 2 years, I don't know, because there's a lot of things John Bartholomew started that just happened in my year. And people think I did it, but it was something started in John administration. So hopefully some things that I'm doing, I probably won't see it done during my administration, but it would happen next year, because I've learned, and I didn't know it, it took me 40-something years to understand, bureaucracy move at a turtle pace, a snail pace. And so I'm learning more as I go along, that sometimes you plant certain seeds and hoping that the freeze doesn't stop the seeds from growing. So again, I appreciate your passion, but I really have to take exception to the point that you said that you have to say what you're saying so that people can get something done. Whether you come here or not, or anybody come here, as long as I'm Councilman East Bank, I would be that verse. I would be that verse. And I really, really take that personally. I just want to let you know, I take that personally, because one of the things that I'm known for this council is being a verse for the East Bank. I could be called names, but I take exception not only to you, anyone who say that there is no progress and nothing being done, that there need to be another verb. 2 years from now, yes. But for the next 2 years, I can tell you the East Bank got a verse, and that verse is the person that elected to this office. I got elected on that verse, and I will continue to be that verse. So next item.
Look,
Yes.
Chairman Edwards, on behalf of the employees, that's very appreciated, because the employees are the ones that suffer the most when all the negativity and negative comments are being thrown around. They know they work hard every day. And sure, they got a tiny percent that might be sleeping under the tree in the back somewhere, but the majority of these guys in all departments, guys and ladies, are working hard every day, doing the best that they can. They live in these communities. They want them to be successful as well. So thank you very much for those compliments.
Mr. Conover.
vouch that he's talking for the East Bank. That's why I need to put that 5 minutes on him.
I'm sorry, man. I got passion. I'm sorry.
5.
Yeah.
5, bids and advertisements. 5A, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing recreation equipment and uniforms for 1 year for use by the Recreation Department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Take them global.
Both of them. A resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing chemicals for a period of 1 year for use by the Water Sewer Department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer. Offer second by Councilman Chose. Any comments from the audience? Table? Administration? Table? Call for the vote, huh? I'll open it. Okay. The vote was
Oh, I'm sorry, I did that quick. 8-0.
8 with Councilman Goulet absent.
6, beer and liquor licenses. 6A, the ferry stop 3762, Highway 39, Braithwaite. B, Thompson's Kitchen, 105 Camellia Drive, Port Sulphur. Hart's Exxon, 42813, Highway 23, Venice. Hart's Old Cypress Bar, 42815, Highway 23, Venice. The Den Lounge, 42805, Highway 23, Venice. El Paso, 8617, Highway 23, Belchase. The G-Spot Daiquiris, 113 Edema Lane, Port Sulphur. Black Velvet Oyster Bar Grill, 105 Everett Lane, Buras. Philisac of Jesuit Bend, 113 Lions Club Lane. Blue Angel Lounge, 9670, Highway 23, Belchase. Belchase Cafe, 8475, Highway 23, Belchase. Jalapeno, 7670, Highway 23, Belchase. Belchase Express, 7812, Highway 23, Belchase. Happy Land, 35949, Highway 11, Buras. Happy Land 2, 27910, Highway 23, Port Sulphur. Saba Food Mart 2, 9144, Highway 23, Belchase. Myrtle Grove Bar, 17509, Highway 23, Port Sulphur.
No, open the second. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Roll call? She's open. Okay. We passed 8-1 with Councilman Goulet absent. Next item.
7, building permit. 7B, gaming license permit for Belchase High School HOSA program to participate in a raffle for gift cards. Councilmember Schultz.
Offer by Councilman Schultz, second by Champagne. Comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brock.
Clarence Brock, 156, Enos Camelland, Phoenix, Louisiana. On building permits, there is no permits being sent out for building permits, or just, or you're not reading?
Didn't receive any from the permit department this meeting.
All right, that's what I want. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other comment? Machine is open. Passed 8-1 with Dr. Goulet absent.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
We have several. The following are for Councilmember Edwards. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Economic Development Tourism Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Engineering and Public Works Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Buildings General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Mosquito Control Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Waterworks and Sewerage Operations Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Coastal Resource and Protection Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Coastal Zone Levy General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution providing for canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the election held in the parish of Plaquemine, state of Louisiana, on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, and to promulgate the results thereof. The next year for Councilmember Schultz, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Road Maintenance Public Right-of-Way Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Flood Control General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Director of Arts, Parks, and Recreation Department, and the Recreation Facilities and Services Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next one is for Councilmember Newsom, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of Arbella Realty LLC, Lot 4A2, Concord Canal Subdivision, Belle Chase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 17, Township 14 South, Range 24 East, into lots 4A3, 4A4, 4A5, 4A6, and 4A7, Concord Canal Subdivision, Belle Chase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 17, Township 14 South, Range 24 East, is shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated October 15, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This one is for Councilmember Jurisic, an ordinance to amend the 2025 General Fund Manpower Structure and Operating Expenditure Budget, Coastal Zone Levy General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And finally, a resolution under Councilmember Konovich a resolution to appoint the members whose terms have expired on the Coastal Zone Advisory Committee, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and that is it.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. Yeah.
We're going to ask for referrals and withdrawals.
Okay.
So with deferred withdrawal, do we have any deferred withdrawal? Yes, Mr. Champagne?
Press the button.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to defer 9A1 with a caveat, just so that people know it's, this deals with the government complex and the master plan. We're deferring it simply so that my colleagues have time to go through the master plan and fully understand what the administration's plans are for the complex. And we'll be ready to bring this up for a vote in 2 weeks. So again, 9A1, I request a deferral.
And we also, I'm sorry. Schultz?
Yes, I'm going to be deferring for right now 9G until engineering can give me a couple update numbers on it. They have to run some numbers. So I'm deferring 9G, as in golf.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I would be withdrawing 9B.
9B? Any others?
Dr. GUIs are going to be deferred. J and K.
Which one? J and K.
Is that I? Oh, I, J, and K. 3 of them. Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to vote on that one? Okay.
I'll have Kim read what was withdrawn and defer.
Okay. Item 9A1 is being deferred. 9B is in boy is being withdrawn. 9G is in good, is being deferred, as well as 9I. I'm sorry, no. 9J, 9K, and that is it.
Deferred, JK?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mr. France?
Yes, item 9N would be deferred. I got to meet with the engineering and the parish president so we could punch some numbers. We can schedule a meeting this week, coming up this week.
We can do it Wednesday if you want to.
Sound like a winner. Thank you.
The N is deferred.
Just get
9N.
day and we'll set up a time. They'll call you.
Any other deferred withdrawal? Do you want to read that one more time for me, Kim?
9A1, defer. 9B is in boy, withdrawn. 9G is in good, defer. 9J, defer. 9K, defer. And 9N, defer.
So now we're reaching back to
982.
982.
An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of Venice Charters Unlimited LLC, former Emmett Adolph property, Boothville, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 35, T20S, R30E, into lots EA1, EA2, and EA3, Boothville, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 35, T20S, R30E, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated August 13th, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish Government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Been offered. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Patty. Any questions from the audience? Administration? Table? Call for the. Eight with absent Dr. Gouy. Next.
9C, an ordinance approving the extension of the lease between the Plaquemines Parish Government and the Shipyard Service LLC pursuant to LARS 41-1217, with all of its requirements having been fulfilled by leasee without any cost to the Plaquemines Parish Government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and without warrant of title by Plaquemines Parish Government, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich. For that. D, an ordinance directing the Plaquemines Parish Government Finance Department on the appropriation of the firefighting fund capital outlay maintenance designation, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Offered by Councilman Cho, second by Councilman Champagne. Any questions from the audience? Table? Administration? Table? Machine is open. Passes 8 with Dr. Gouy absent.
B, the ordinance directing the Plaquemines Parish Government Finance Department on the appropriation of the parish surplus designated fund balance, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Offered by Councilman Cho, second by Councilman Newsom. Any questions from the audience? Administration, I'm sorry, Mr. Hendry?
Arthur Henry, Bell Chase. Councilman Show, just explain to the people about this ordinance.
Yes.
Yes, when we create this year and a half, 2 years ago, we set the max. We didn't know kind of where the max was. So with the increase in sales tax from Venture Global, we're, especially on the fire department, we set it lower. So this one and the last one was just increasing the max that's allowed to go into that fund. no money's being appropriated or anything. It's just changing the maximum limits.
Any other comments from the floor? Administration? Table? Machine is open. Passes 8 with Dr. Gui absent. Next.
An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt ordinance 24-217 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Offered by Councilman Schultz, second by Councilman Champagne. Any questions from the audience?
Come and act.
Yeah, so when we create this EMT advance position, finance accidentally pulled the wrong number, and this is amending the ordinance from last year to have the correct salary for that position. It doesn't really impact anything except for correcting that ordinance because in 25, we put the correct salary amount. We're just basically clean up of the original ordinance.
Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open. I'm sorry.
I know we've said this several times, but the digest, it didn't mention the EMT advance, so we just need to make sure. Okay, thank you.
Any more comments from the table? Machine is open. Passes 8 with Dr. Gui absent. Next.
H, an ordinance to amend the 2025 manpower structure and the 2025 operating expenditure budget and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
So offer. Second by Councilman Schultz. Any questions, comments from the audience? Administration? Table?
Yes. Are we creating a position here? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I thought he's.
But yeah,
Okay. Yes, please, whoever can explain
Put him in
it.
the queue. Put him in the queue.
I'm sorry.
So this goes back to the one that we voted on 9, what is that, F? We created the positions in 24 when EMS was not budgeted in 25. They re-budgeted everybody, but they missed 2 part-time advanced EMTs. So basically, we're correcting that. We overlooked it during the amendments during budget time, so we're just putting the positions back in.
Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open. Passes 8 with Dr. Gui absent. Next.
I, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget, coastal zone levee locks and floodgates department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Gui.
I'll second. Any questions from the audience? Yes, Mr. Brox?
Is there going to be extra money put in for flood zones?
For what?
Is there orders to add money, going to have money put into a fund for flood zones?
This
A zone,
it's about a floodgate. It's not about flood zone.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the floodgates.
Yeah.
Also, I know it's been said in the past that we will not have any more floodgates on the East Bank, so that's money that we could use to put in floodgates. That floodgates is what we need on that side. We will have a hurricane, water will come, and will flood the East Bank of Plaquemine Parish. With all these floodgates, we can't let the water out fast enough. So that's money that's going to be put in the budget that we could use to build floodgates.
Go ahead and let Kimberly.
Well, yeah. So I'm going to give a brief, and then if she wants to expand. Basically, Coastal is taking over the floodgate operations, and this is money that used to be in prom that they did it, but now with Ms. Buck in charge of Coastal, we're moving the money into floodgates. If Ms. Buck wants to expand upon that, but this is basically to maintain and do the required tests every year. if Ms. Buck wants to expand a little bit more on that, she can, but that's my understanding.
I understand. It's just money to keep the repair up.
Correct.
Not
It's
for-
to do the required tests and repair. There's no new gates going in. There's no new anything going in. It's just basically funding for the that used to be in prom, funding it for coastal zone now.
I got you. Thank you.
It's kind of,
Yeah, I'm going to vote for this, but I never get a call about nothing. Nobody called me about putting money into the levy system or anything. So if we're going to start moving money and all, I'd like to know about it maybe a week before.
any other thing from the floor?
So, I guess, so we moving it, yeah, out of, does contractors do we get somebody to do this, or do we do it in-house, or how does that work? And how often do we do this exercise? Do we do it, I'm sure we're required to do it at some point in time. What are those?
To the mic, to the mic, to the mic.
It's annual inspections. That's what we pay the most for. A couple of those ones in the water. You have to hire a company to come out with a barge and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Put divers in the water to make sure there's not logs underneath there. And then there's general maintenance that we could do in-house if it's small stuff or send out, but if it's something different.
Okay, thank you, Danny, thank you.
Yes, to speak on it, we do some maintenance ourselves. We do have a crew that goes out there and generator work, certain, things go out. So that's what this is to do, to maintain and to keep these floodgates and lock systems operable. So it's, to the existing what we have, Mr. Brock, it's nothing new.
Any other comments from the table? So we're voting on this, right? Machine's open. It passes 8 with Dr. Gui out. Next item on the agenda.
A resolution granting conditional approval for a plan of subdivision of tracks A and B2, sections 2 and 73, T14S R24E, Southeastern District of Louisiana, west of the Mississippi River, Belchase Parish of Plaquemines, into lots 1 through 54, square A, lots 1 through 30, square B, lots 1 through 24, square C, Barrier Estates, and the dedication of George Boulevard, Numa Street, Alvin Street, and Alvin Circle, and dedication of drainage servitudes and dedication sewer servitude, Belchase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plans and plat of Survey Dufresne Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated June 1st, 2021, revised June 21st, 2024. The owner, having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, Councilman McCarty.
Do we have a second? Second by Councilman LaFrance.
So
I'm sorry.
Hero Lands filed for the ability to put in a subdivision off of Woodland Highway across from the parks a few years ago. And it was approved by a previous council, and then a moratorium on subdivisions came through, and their date had expired, from what I understand. And then we voted again, but we needed a new date, so now this is coming up again. Many commissioners have, and people in the parish have asked about the subdivision. So Mr. Hero is here to answer any questions that you have. And I offer for anyone to inquire about any questions they have.
Okay. Can we yield to? Go ahead.
I'm
Public
Alan
comment.
Hero, representing Hero Lands Company in Belchase. Like Ms. McCarty said, this is a resubmission of a plan that was approved over 2 years ago, and
because of unforeseen events, we were not able to proceed with the work in a timely fashion. We got delayed with some permitting with the state of Louisiana. So we're resubmitting the plans from 2022. And to my knowledge, all the departments, the parish departments have approved it. The state is involved. They got involved. There's going to be eventually a turn lane to be constructed to get to this subdivision. And we're ready to go on this project. So if there are any questions, I'm willing to see what I can answer.
I got one.
Okay. Clear.
Upper Henry, Belchase. Al, what is located at again in Belchase?
Without a map, that's a good question. Well, you know where the WNOE towers used to be on Woodland Highway?
Yeah.
There's one tower left. Well, that's where that subdivision is going to be going. The tower will come down once we start construction there. There's nothing across the street, actually. It's open land on the riverside of Woodland Highway.
I got no problem with it.
Thank you.
Just give it to him. I'll come back and get it. He told us.
Okay. Champagne.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Hero. I'm not opposed to growth by any way, shape, or form in the parish, especially if someone owns property and does everything to fill the requirements of both the state and the parish. However, I cannot overlook some of the issues I saw with the conditional approval, one being the sewer. And before I move on, I did put that out in the question form, and you did respond back with some answers, and I appreciate that. But again, there are some problems here, one being with the sewer, and I quote, "A new sewer lift station's force main that will connect to the existing 8-inch force main located on Woodland Highway will make sure that they're aware that the sewer lift station on Barrier Estates may affect the operation of the existing lift stations that are tied into the same sewer force main in Chapel Hill, Pleasant Ridge, and Noble Manor." And to sum this down, basically it's saying that the lift station that you guys put in for your subdivision can cause sewer problems for Chapel Hill, Pleasant Ridge, and Noble Manor. That's a concern, and I brought that up, and you responded in a memo, but it does not talk about what would we do to mitigate that. So if just putting in a lift station is a problem, is there a way to potentially stop that? Is it a booster pump in addition to a lift station? That needs to be addressed, because I cannot approve something that may cause harm to existing neighborhoods. And it clearly states this by Infomark. There's another thing here that says you may have an issue with the tie-in on the water line, and we need to have an alternate tie-in location identified. That wasn't identified either. So I think those two things need to be addressed. There's another issue with potentially shutting down Woodland Highway during some construction times, and my concern with that is once this bridge gets approved, we're going to have a significant amount of traffic diverted down Woodland Highway, a highway that's already having some structural difficulties. I'm concerned about that as well. I bring this up because I'm not opposed to the subdivision, but I'm opposed to the construction if we don't address these potential issues. So until the sewer is addressed, the potential sewer problem, the water tie-in, and addressing the issues of Woodland Highway, I'm going to have to be opposed to this. Again, if this is addressed and we have solutions that resolve these issues, then I'll be for it. So I want to make that clear. I'm not opposed to development. I firmly believe that if you're not growing, you're dying as an entity. But again, we can't do it at the potential expense to others. And the little bit I know you, I've seen everything that you and your family have done. You take those things into consideration. So I would hope that you guys continue with that thought process and take a look at this and help us come up with solutions that resolve these issues, so that if the subdivision does get approved, we can go to construction and not have any second or third order effects that cause other people hardship. I yield.
Could I comment? To my knowledge, the issues with the sewer and water line were approved by the respective departments when this was submitted. Now, they may be so ongoing, and if we have an ongoing issue, we're willing to work with the parish. But we are under the impression that all these plans have been approved by the appropriate departments. I can't, if they got afterthoughts about it, we can address it. I mean, this project's going to take quite a while, and if we're willing to work with the parish, they're willing to change some specifications, that's fine. In regard to the highway, we have to work with the state of Louisiana. It's their highway. They're the ones that are requesting the turn lane. We have to work with them, or whatever their plans are on Woodland Highway. I'm sure if there's a problem, we're going to get deferred. The turn lane won't probably be put in for quite a while until we have actually some traffic. Construction's going to take, end of the year. Maybe we might be finished with one phase of it before the end of the year. But we have to work with the state of Louisiana. If the parish has some comments, I think they need to talk with DOTD as to how this is all going to be planned out. When we did a traffic survey at the request of the request of the previous council person from that district, and it took forever to get the state to decide what they wanted to do in the turn lane. And I thought that the parish was involved. If they're not, maybe the parish and the state need to talk to each other about Woodland Highway. But this was after we had gotten parish approval for everything, and then the council person said, well, we need a traffic study, and that's why we have to put in the turn lane. Woodland Highway is going to be upgraded. Some people think it's going to happen. It may not be necessary. I'm not aware of anything that the state's going to do on Woodland Highway, but we can work with the parish, but when this was submitted back in June of last year and sat wherever it sat in the permits, we thought that the permits had been, all those plans had been looked at. That's my understanding. And I had talked to with the man with Infomark, and there was never any follow-up as to what changes they needed on these plans. And our engineer has talked to engineering and Infomark, and we thought this whole thing was resolved when this was approved by the parish. The parish department just looked at all these plans.
Mr. Newsom.
No, Mr. Schultz. He was over.
I'm sorry.
Kim.
I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Clear.
There you go. You on?
It's fine. I was going to wait.
I got you on, Schultz.
All right. So I have some of the same concerns. First of all, I don't think there was ever a moratorium for subdivisions in the Belle Chase area. I don't ever remember that. So that is not per se why this got delayed. My concerns is Woodland Highway. Again, you're saying you're willing to work with us, but what we're voting on right now is the plans. You don't have to work on it with us after we approve these plans. This is the plans. You need to work with us before we approve these plans. So let me finish. So I am looking at the DOTD map that was provided to us. And first of all, this is dated June 1st, 2021. It sounds like in 24 because this shows no turn lane. I mean, I'm looking at it says drainage ditch, center line. It's a rounded turn off into the neighborhood, but there's no turn lanes. So when it comes to Woodland Highway, in less than 2 months, there's going to be increased traffic on Woodland Highway. Let's be honest about it. Bridge is going to open, tolling is going to start increase. So the traffic study done 3 years ago, it's really not even going to be accurate now. The second issue I have is Woodland Highway. There's a massive center line going down, or a crack going down the center line. That's going to have to be replaced. Then we got the Woodland traffic circle that's going to be started, June, July, I think, or every time I turn around, it gets pushed back. But now is not the time, because once we approve this, you can start tomorrow. And now is not the time. When it comes to sewer, these were the comments back then, and this is what's being submitted. You're saying you're going to work with us, but what we're voting on now, you do not have to work with us. If you want to work with us, we need to go back now before we vote on this. I get what you're saying. I'm not saying you're going to be dishonest or anything, but what we approve now, you don't have to turn around and work with us. You can say, nope, I got approved, I'm good. And from my standpoint, in District 3, I have the exact same issue. One of my sewer lift stations is overloaded because of other lift stations put in. So basically what I'm saying is, well, I have that problem, but I'm going to approve this. And then Noble Manor, I forgot what the other subdivision, Pleasant Hill, whatever, y'all going to have the same issues I'm having. And I can't vote on that. Also, there's an issue about the water where it says the developer is going to have to find somewhere else to tie into. Well, where is that going to be? Like, we don't have the answers. And I can't vote on something, for something, without having those answers, because what we're voting on is this. You can work with us, yes, I get it, but we need to work on that before the vote, if that makes sense. And I'll let you respond, but that's where I'm coming from, because mainly the sewer and Woodland Highway, because again, I'm dealing with that exact issue in my district right now, because every time it rains, the sewer's overloaded and backs up into people's houses. And basically what I'm saying to these people in these neighborhoods is, I'm going to vote for this, but it might screw you over later. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I'll let you respond.
When were the dates of these comments made?
Approved 7/30/2024. So last year. So these comments have been on here. I don't know when was the last time you talked to Infomark, but this was on here for now 6 months.
Let me ask you.
We just got this when it got introduced. So, I mean, we don't see it.
Infomark has not approved our plans. Is that what you're implying?
They approved it, but they say there could be problems. And that, my view, again, this is just my view. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. To me, they shouldn't have approved it if there's going to be a problem. But they should have came back to you and said, okay, how are we going to fix this? But again, I get that you're saying you're going to work with us, but what we're approving today, if we vote on this, is these plans. And that means once we vote on it, you can say, well, y'all approved it, I don't have to do anything. I'm not saying you're going to do that. I mean, you've been around a long time. I get that you're not that type of person, but that's what we're doing today, and that's why I can't vote for this, if that makes sense.
So after the subdivision was approved, two of the departments changed their minds and did not, these comments never came to us or our engineer. So the department structure seems to have fallen down.
I don't know how the permit procedures are when they approve it. Does it go back to you? But I mean, we don't see it. We didn't see this until basically 2 weeks ago, or I guess about a month ago when it got introduced because of the Christmas holidays and stuff. So we didn't see these comments until it got uploaded from the permit department. I'm assuming that because this is the permit application. So I would assume when it's processed, they send it back to you. And these comments are in here.
That's not correct.
So how did you know that you got approval? Do you have any paperwork from the permit office saying you're approved?
From the permit office.
And that's
submitted
the
to the
application.
parish for the vote. I thought that was the process. It went to the permit office, our engineer submits.
I don't know. Maybe a director can clarify how the permit process works. I mean, I'm assuming the permit, when they get all their approvals, it goes back to, so should he have received a copy of this, what we're looking at, the application, with all the approvals?
He should have been, I don't know if I'll find that out. I don't know if they send him an actual copy of all of the approvals, but he should have been notified that they were approved by each individual department, and of when it would go for a vote, introduction and for a vote to the council.
Any more questions, Councilman Schultz?
Yeah, I'm done for right now.
Mr. Hero, a couple questions, and they pretty simple. A few years back when they voted on this, because what happened, it apparently expired and we had to reintroduce it, right? Is that
That's
what
correct.
happened? How did that vote go back then?
Well, it never got reintroduced. In other words, the subdivision was approved in 2022, prior to this administration coming into
So
office.
it got approved.
It got approved.
By this commission.
By the parish council.
And what happened since no work took place?
Okay, let me explain what happened. After it was approved, unfortunately, after it was approved, there was a request for a traffic study. We went to the state, and it took them over a year to get an answer on what they wanted to do on a turn lane. And we agreed that we were going to build a turn lane in accordance with the state specs. It took until December of 2023 to get an answer from the state. And by that time, our timeline to complete the subdivision was down to 4 months, and there was no way that we could complete the subdivision in 4 months. So it lapsed.
I remember that. I remember DOTD was the hang-up for you.
And it went back and forth between our engineer and DOTD. Now, that's why we're resubmitting the plans. My knowledge of the process is that Mr. Dufresne submits the plans to permit office, and permit office forwards the approvals to the council for final vote for conditional approval of the plans.
No, I mean, I'm looking, everything I see says approved. They have those couple concerns my fellow council members are talking about.
Hero Lands Company has been here
I know.
100 years in this parish.
Every department has given you approval, including the permit office. So I just,
That's my feeling, is that there's some miscommunication, or I don't know what happened. These comments, I'd never heard them before, to tell you the truth.
they're clearly stated in the paperwork, but it's just concerns. I just wanted to, how did the vote go back when you originally?
It was approved back in 2022, yeah. That council was okay. And we again tried to work with the state on the turning lane situation after the fact, because technically, the traffic study on Woodland Highway was a state issue. It was not a parish issue, even though one of the council persons thought that was an issue at that time. Now, whether it's out of date or not, I don't know enough about traffic studies and what's going to happen in the future or when it's going to happen to comment on whether it needs to be changed, or whether, when they refurbish Woodland Highway, that's going to be part of the issue. But I agree, Woodland Highway needs to be worked on, but we had nothing to do with those turn lanes that are there now.
No, I was looking, everything I see has been approved in 2024. My original concern was that approval from 2021, but it's not. These are all approved in 2024. So that's all the questions I have for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hero, I want to thank you for reaching out email early in the week and reaching out, and I responded. And again, thank you for your speedy response to some of the questions I have. But as some of my colleagues have said, sewer is a huge issue, and you're right. It does say the parish approved it. The direct Infomark just gives an approval, but ultimately it's from the parish. It's from the directors of that department. So Infomark just gives approval, but ultimately it comes to the administration.
Yeah, engineering has to sign off.
Engineering has signed off. I see Mr. Marco signed off, Mr. Stanley, legal. So it's a lot of issues that came to the parish. But again, as Mr. Champagne and Mr. Schultz have stated, if we approve this and it goes in and you do it, and we have sewer problems in Chapel Hill, in Pleasant Ridge, Noble Manor, when those folks come up to the same place you're standing and ask us, why did y'all approve this when y'all knew there might be a problem with my sewer? So when I flush my toilet, it comes in my tub. What should be my response to them when they say, well, didn't y'all know this? And I'm going to have to say, yeah, they said it may affect your sewer. So again, you see this point where we're sitting at when we have your subdivision to worry about, but we also have a responsibility to Chapel Hill, Pleasant Ridge, and Noble Manor, to the residents of that subdivision, of those subdivisions.
So what do you recommend?
I'm not an engineer. I'm not an engineer, but I can read. And when it says it may affect operations, I don't know. I think there needs to be, again, sewer is a huge issue throughout the parish. As we just spoke about sewer, water lines are a huge issue. Our infrastructure is very fragile. Sewer and water, we know that. Everybody knows that. But when we have to have something that I just don't like putting somebody else's problems on somebody else. So if you build a subdivision and go with it and have your 100 and something lots, and we have sewer issues in these other neighborhoods, what do we tell? Oh, too bad. That's the thing I'm hung up on. And it says may, so it don't say it will, it says may, but may usually means it's going to happen. It doesn't say, oh, there won't be no issues with that. So again, that's where I'm at. And to Mr. Schultz's comment that he said, correct. I think, Ms. McCarty, you spoke about a moratorium. I looked through my notes and through the past thing. There was no neighborhood moratorium since at that time. Again, you spoke about a turning lane. On the plans, as Mr. Schultz said, I'm looking. There's no definition of a turning lane on Woodland Highway. It's not in the plans.
It's a state highway. We were working with the state. That's, for some reason, the parish is not involved there. I don't know how that works. We're not involved.
I don't either. But you say a turn lane, but if we approve this, there's no turning lane in the plans. You don't have to put a turn lane.
Yeah, we do. We're working with the state.
We approved in these plans that there's no turning lane.
Let me explain, please. To enter the state highway, you got to get a driveway permit. And when we talked about this, when our engineer talked with the state after the traffic study, that's when he was informed that we need to go through this turning lane situation. The state, until you tie into the state, you have to have a permit. And that's the conditions that we're under now, to put in a turn lane so we can connect Woodland Highway to our subdivisions.
Why wasn't it added to these plans then?
I don't know, sir.
I guess that's a question for Dufresne. So one more question I got, Mr. Hero. So you talked about when you had it approved back in previous council. You said you had a certain time frame to. Is it a certain time frame to start or to complete?
To complete.
Okay, you got to complete it. So if we give you this permit, if it passed today, 2025, you have till 2 years to complete this subdivision?
I think that's correct.
It's different phases.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the ordinance.
What you said earlier, you did say complete earlier. That's why I wrote notes down. So you could have started this project back at the end of 2022, whenever it got approved, 23, whenever after you had your traffic stuff done.
Traffic study wasn't completed to the end of 1923. It took them over a year to get the plans back from the state, and that's what delayed us. It wasn't the parish, it was the state of Louisiana Highway Department trying to determine what their rules were for a turning lane, and that's what delayed us.
Thank you.
We couldn't start this project. I need a suggestion of how we can resolve it. If we can talk with these departments and get a proposal of what they want to do. But I mean, right now, I'm hearing that may and might, and what's going to happen on Woodland Highway, well, nobody knows what's going to happen on Woodland Highway. I need, what do y'all need from us? I mean, we can defer if I can get a timeline of if I need to meet with all these departments again. I mean,
I would recommend that. Okay.
I can't hear you.
We got people.
I know they have people in the queue, but I just wanted to let you know that this is for discussion. Okay, so we will be deferring this, but this is for discussion so that we can know what type of answers to come back with.
So I'd like to make a recommendation that in the interim here, we defer this today, we get with Infomark, we get with the permit department, we get with Ms. McCarty. We sit down, we talk about these issues. Once we talk with Infomark, there may be an issue, but it may be a simple fix as far as the sewer. And the water line, to me, it seems to be that tapping into a water line shouldn't be that complicated. So we just need their recommendation. What are they talking about? And as far as Woodland Highway is concerned, Woodland Highway it's going to be repaired in the near future. But this project, we're not looking for probably another 2 years or so before you even start interfering with any kind of traffic on Woodland Highway. So hopefully by then the turnaround will be fixed. And if at the same time, if things, this is probably not going to happen, but it would probably be good if that turning lane could be done at the same time they come in and do the repairs on that center line fracture. But that's what I'd recommend. Let us get with Mr. DeMarco, get with the permit department, get with Infomark. Let's get into a meeting, see what those issues really are and what the fix is, and then we can get it resolved. Then we can get the information back before the council here, and then we can move forward with this project.
That's fine. That's fine.
So,
otherwise,
I've got your contact information. I'll give it to you. Got it? Okay.
I want to say that Mr. Hero over here, I want to thank you for responding. He was responsive. We sent a list of questions. He responded immediately with a memorandum. So I just want the people to know that, he's not trying to force us down on the roads. I think with this, he responded quickly to our concerns. Many of them were addressed. And again, you're asking good questions. And we want your subdivision to move forward and to do it the right way. So we have time. We just address these sewer issues, maybe an easy fix. As far as the plans on the turning, if in fact that we just need to clarify that. And the other thing that we didn't touch on was you said this is a 3-phase construction project.
That's correct.
Laying out the phases. You did talk about 26 houses initially. Then what's the trigger for phase 2? How many is it? 52? Is it 60? I don't know. But timelining that out so we can progress along at a pace that doesn't affect us on traffic-wise or so many things we're talking about. So it's just a matter of us sitting down and laying this thing out methodically and making sure that it doesn't affect anyone else in a negative way with the sewer, that we do identify a potential water tie-in, that we address the traffic issues. You can say, hey, it's not going to be that many vehicles because there are only 26 houses on phase 1.
26 houses.
We just need to lay that out. And once we do that, it's just us being responsible moving forward. So I think the parish president had a great suggestion that we just need to sit down at the table with these responsible bodies and these different directors, sewer, water, et cetera, and just make sure we lay it out and help you get through this process so it does not cause an issue with anyone else. And I think we'll be there. We're not trying to hold you back. We're just trying to do it right, as Commissioner Schultz said. That's it.
Okay.
So thank you.
But
Wait. You took them out. Oh, don't do anything. Crystal,
I got it. There you go.
the highway study was for the roundabout, wasn't for your turning lane.
No, sir. No, that's,
Yeah.
we had a private traffic
The one that-
study
The one
done.
that we was doing was for the turning lane. And the sewage says May, and then the water line, if they can't use the tap that's there already, they have to find another spot and tap it, and he has to pay for it all. But where the moratorium came into effect, I brought it up because kept on putting new subdivisions up here, and I couldn't flush my toilet down the road. I didn't have enough water to do nothing. And with the councilman from District 2, I told him, you keep doing it, I'm going to do a moratorium. So that's where it came from.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to make two quick comments. I know it says May, but like I said, I'm dealing with that issue in my district, and I just want that resolved. Get with Infomark and say, okay, do we need to put a booster station in conjunction with this? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but get with Infomark. That's my main concern. And then also if we can get updated traffic maps, because what I'm looking at right now does not have a turning lane, it's dated June 1st, 2021, which is obviously well before the turning lane was approved in 23, 24 range. So if we can get an updated map that way, because you're talking about turning lane, I'm like, wait, there's no turning lane on here. So if we can get that updated map through permits and everything, when you get with permits and Infomark, just get them an updated map with the turning lane on there, the plans. Because like I said, this is dated June 1st, 2021. We don't have.
That's when we started the process.
Yeah, but you said they made you, yeah, so that, like I'm saying, because you submitted this application in June of 24, which is after the approval, so it would have been, I would have thought that they would require the updated map then. So whenever you get with permits, if you could get them an updated map.
Do you mind if Mr. Champagne just give him a copy right now? So he can-
Yeah, so that's all I ask. That way, when we're voting on this, we have the most up-to-date information.
And
Because,
submit Mr. McCarthy, because we've been talking about.
yeah,
this.
I yield, that's it.
It's obvious we going, it was only supposed to be a discussion, so you can talk about what you want to do with this, so we can proceed.
Okay. We're back to square one, Mr. Hero, as I was hoping that we would handle this in private, talking with the council members. But now we know what the council members would be asking for. And as we had discussed, that we can go to these different departments now and answer all the questions, come back with the appropriate information, and move forward. Right now, I'd like to defer this.
That's fine.
For time.
I'd like to make a closing comment here.
Okay.
In regards to the turning lane, I don't think the parish got involved in that process at all. I'm just suggesting perhaps that's part of the loop now, because technically, I don't think anybody in the parish had any say on the turning lane situation. I don't know if they did or not, because I'll let my engineer and state get involved in it. But what you're asking for is more requirements on this whole permitting process. The timeline situation, yeah, that's a great idea, but they need to put it into the standard approval process for anybody. Okay, the subdivision is going to take X. It's not in the requirements from the parish department. That's my argument here, is that if the parish approved it and then subsequently says, oh, there's an issue, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me after the thing was submitted to permits office. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda.
9M, a resolution appointing Plaquemines Parishes members of the Regional Planning Commission and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
We need to fill in the blanks, please. Under number 3, line 33, Mark Konovich is being inserted as another council member appointee. Line 36, Rob Hopkins will remain as the parish civic member, and Alan Hero will remain as another parish civic member to the Regional Planning Commission.
With those, I'll financial second.
Second. Any discussion from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open for vote. Passes 8, but Dr. Gouy out. Next item.
A resolution approving the issuance of a fourth two-year extension commencing upon the expiration of the current two-year extension period to Woodland Borrow Pits LLC for the existing sand pit on property located in FP zoning district at 22441 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, all in accordance with application number 2014-4771 dated January 7th, 2013, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
Offer by Mr. France. Second by Councilwoman Patty. Any comments from the audience?
Arthur Henry Belchase. Hey, the parish still making money off this pit on the Woodland Borrow Pit?
It's not a borrow pit, it's a sand pit.
Well,
And that sand pit
Well, they have here borrow pit. They don't have sand pit. And I'm only going by what they have here. Well, it doesn't say that here.
That's the name of the company.
It said William Borrow Pit. All right, okay.
That's just the name of the company.
So, we're not making any money off of it. All right.
All right. Any other comments from the audience? Okay. Waiting on the administration. What happened? He got cleared. You cleared Connick out?
No, he did.
Oh, he cleared himself. Okay. You all ready, administration?
Just defer it for a second.
Okay.
Look, let's move on to, let's defer this to.
Okay, we're gonna defer this and come back to it.
9P, a resolution to rezone those properties. Oh, we,
They don't need more time to do something.
We're going to come back to it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
all right.
What's your pleasure?
Come back to it. You're not deferring it. We're not deferring it. Pass over it. We're going to pass
Over it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want me.
Next item.
P, a resolution to rezone those properties located in Point Celeste Farms owned by or to be acquired by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District from floodplain district to heavy industrial, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne, this is a substitution.
You want me to read the whole thing? Okay. Brian, preamble again or no? Preamble again or no? Okay. A resolution to petition and authorize the application for a map change pursuant and in conformity with the comprehensive zoning ordinance to rezone those certain properties located in Point Celeste Farms subdivision, phases 1 and 2, identified as follows: lots 1A, 2B, 3, 6, and 7, not yet acquired, 8, 11 through 17, 33, 34, 45, 46, which is not yet acquired, 47 and 48, which is not yet required, 50A, 50B, 51, 52A, 52B, 53, 54, 57A, 58A, 59, 60A, 61, and B1, which are now owned by or to be acquired by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District from floodplain heavy district from floodplain district to heavy industrial I3 district and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Now therefore be it resolved by the Plaquemines Parish Council that it hereby authorizes the petition and filing of an application for map change pursuant to and in conformity with the comprehensive zoning ordinance, specifically section 12, to rezone those certain properties located in Point Celeste Farms subdivision, phases 1 and 2, identified as follows: lots 1A, 2B, 3, 6, 7, not yet acquired, 8, 11 through 17, 33, 34, 45, 46, 47, and 48, which is not yet acquired, 50A, 50B, 51, 52A, 52B, 53, 54, 57A, 58A, 59, 60A, and 61, and B1, which are now owned or to be acquired by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District from floodplain district to heavy industrial district. Be it further resolved by the Plaquemines Parish Council that the Secretary of this council is hereby authorized and directed to immediately certify and release this resolution, and that parish employees and officials are authorized to carry out the purposes of this resolution, both without reading and final approval by the Plaquemines Parish Council.
Offered by Councilman Champagne, second by Councilman Schultz. Any comments from the audience? David Beecher, Mr. Brock.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. I see we're given the opportunity to rezone prior to purchasing. What would that do to the property value? Do we know that? So the people that, I'm sorry?
Yep.
Q him, please.
Okay.
No, it would make it subject to a reassessment, a reappraisal. So I don't know, I can't tell you if it would go up or down. So it would open it up to be reappraised and then determine the value.
Yeah, well, it would obviously increase the value, I would imagine. But the reason I'm bringing this up for is, I don't know what a conversation we had about a year and a half ago when Ms. Ainquard was up here trying to keep her property from being acquired by the port at in the floodplain or A2, whatever it was zoned at. And I made a comment, I don't know if you remember or not, about why don't we let them rezone their property and maximize their profitability on their land. And we said we couldn't do that or we wouldn't do that. So I think it's unfair to those that we took their property and not giving them the option to rezone and get that maximized property value that it could have been and what it's going to be used for. So, again, that's a conversation we had, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that that's a concern that I would have if my land was taken a year ago, that a price that it could have been more. So, thank you.
Brock?
Clarence Brock's Phoenix. on the same thing like Mr. Clark was saying, this land, when it be rezoned, it's a flood zone right now. So anything that be put on that land got to be elevated to a certain height. So now they're going to change it to industrial area. So they could put mobile homes, anything down there, or business on the ground, or they got to be elevated. Everything got to be elevated in that area.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. All right, thank you. Got it.
Arthur Henry Bell Chase. I agree with Mr. Clark. It's okay for you to rezone the land that the port already purchased, but the land that's not purchased shouldn't be rezoned. To be fair with everybody, the land that's port purchased already, rezone it to heavy industrial. But the land that's not purchased yet, that's not fair to the people who maybe didn't want it to sell at that particular time. So I'm for rezoning the property that's been acquired already, but the ones that not, I don't think you should rezone it.
So the resolution authorizes the process to begin. So it allows the port director to come in and it allows the government to accept the applications. Ms. Rose, however, will not proceed or move forward, and the port has been told this, will not move forward without the proper authorizations from the property owners who currently own the property. So that either has to be done by power of attorney or through some agreement or some long-term lease agreement whereby the port would then have authority to act on behalf of the property owners. So this lets them file the application, but it will not proceed any further until all those documents have been received to the permit office. And if they're not done, then the zoning board can proceed with the ones that are in the ordinance, and the other ones will just be held back until further time.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Burris, you kind of answered my question, because what's not acquired, you know, it still belongs to the property owners. It's not port property or whatever. And, we do see some. I'm just wondering how far north or how far south are we talking? We're not getting in to the real residential areas, say around West Point, LaHash, or Woodland Plantation, or none of that, are we, with this?
I only drafted ordinance for legality purposes. The actual parcels that are referenced and whatever, I was not a part of that. That was drafted by the port's attorney. So I'd have to defer to Mr. Champagne or Mr. Tillotson.
And I'm looking at him, he's shaking his head, it's not going to affect the
Okay.
residents are living,
Yeah.
actual residents are residing. That was my concern.
Champagne.
Now, to answer your question, that's one of the things we took into consideration to make sure that, we preserve some of those communities and keep them whole, particularly West Point, LaHash, Ironton. We certainly have those in view and making sure that we protect their way of life. And what this is strictly to follow the port's master plan, to change it to I-3 so we can continue developing the people's port and eventually generate revenue for this parish. And it also offers an opportunity for other folks who own property in that area to file for rezoning, to change their real estate from its current zone to I-3 and potentially increase its value. Potentially, I don't know, it has to be reappraised. So again, it just follows along with the master plan that the port put together. It's just the next step. I yield.
Any other comments on the table? Open for the vote. And it's passed is 7 with no vote from Councilman LaFrance and Councilman Gu is absent. Next item.
Are we going back to O?
You want to revert back to your stuff now? Yeah. But when was it? Oh, well.
Yeah, the council members has a couple questions that I'm not able to answer. I mean, you can bring it up for discussion if y'all want to ask. I think Mr. Hogan's here. So in order to answer some of the questions you all may have, I would ask that it be deferred in order for me to do a little more research on the questions that were asked. However, if you got specific questions of Mr. Hogan, you can bring it up and, ask him at the podium. I can't hear you, sir.
Go ahead.
I will defer it. I said we still have a little more time. Hogan, that's not a problem for next 2 weeks? Oh, okay.
Next
We'll
item.
defer it.
Then defer approval of minutes, right?
Yes. Item 10, approval of the minutes from the December 17th, 2024 regular meeting.
Been second by Councilman Chose. Newton offered and second. Gene is open. Connie, would you vote? It's passed as 8 with Councilman Gui absent.
Executive session. Quick. It'll be quick.
Next item.
11, new business. 11B, District 3, update infrastructure issues, drainage and sewer.
No, they're not bringing it, huh?
After executive session.
Do you want to do executive session before or after new business? I do definitely need to do an executive session with you guys. And it shouldn't take too long.
I thought you said it was going to be on the end.
Yeah, however you want it, sir. I was just reminding you all.
At the beginning.
Sure.
It's gonna be on the end, okay.
You're in.
All right, do we have any new update on the sewer stations that are overloaded, mainly in Dr. Gorman and Melvin?
it's the
still
same.
ongoing? Okay.
It's still ongoing. They're still evaluating, trying to change some pumping capacity from one to the other. It's a balance.
Okay.
But we need that vac truck.
Yep. Thank you.
C, District 7 update, Councilmember LaFrance.
All right.
D, District 8 update, condition of Highway 23 with large potholes.
Okay, no, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that I've made multiple complaints about not just the potholes, and not the potholes in the road, but it's right next to the shoulder. We have some horrible sinkholes.
Past Fort Jackson.
Yes, all the way, the whole way on the lower end. They're massive, they're huge, they've been there. We're trying to keep them taped off, roped off so people can see them, but all it takes is somebody to run off the road. And they're not just going to get hurt in some of these things. Some of these things are going to kill somebody. And I've talked to DOTD. They say, oh, it's a funding issue. Well, it'll be a bigger funding issue when somebody sues you because they hit that. So I think we need to really ramp up the pressure on them. They just fixed one in Empire. Well, they fixed the road in Empire in a couple spots. I thought they were fixing to do more repairs than that, but they jumping around. But right there by the dollar store, they went ahead and repaired the road right there. But meantime, you take 2 steps over and you're going to fall over your head, so it's very dangerous. We need to put a lot of pressure on them because they wouldn't let that happen in other areas. I mean, this is like they looking at it and they passing like this. It's dangerous.
Yeah, you stole my thunder. When we reached out to them, it was the same thing. It's funding. I don't know if that's because they came to the end of the year. Now they're going to be okay going forward. We'll get that cleared up. But you're right. It's some huge washouts that's 10 feet straight down in some of them.
One right there.
And they did start doing some of them, but the last few rains that were on the lower end caused all of that. I mean, it's their culverts coming out. They call it. Yeah, they're bad.
Rain. I mean, it was gone overnight. So, but it looks like they got a lot of that infrastructure that's failing now because those old culvert pipes.
Right.
Where the crossovers are, those old culvert pipes are getting rotten. And I don't know how much of that belongs to them and what belongs to us, but all on them. Well, we need to make them, we need to hold them to the fire on this because I'm just waiting any day to get that call that is a kid on a four-wheeler. Because if we wouldn't be marking them, or somebody on a four-wheeler, they'll totally disappear in these holes.
Correct, right.
Thank you. That's all I had to say. We need to work on this.
Kind of it.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I brought them from the Empire Bridge to the end of the road in Venice, showed them every one of them. I stood in one and he couldn't see me. That's how deep they are. That's a big hole. Yeah. Yeah. But the rains are bringing them out, but after Katrina, I don't know if they applied for FEMA funds to replace all them culverts because they're all metal and they went under salt water. I don't know how many times, but Katrina was the last time with the salt water. So they all caving in. And, it's not just the shoulder, it's the road. And then I'll go to the Fort Jackson. I talked to you about it. I'll have to get with Avery. But, I donate my time cutting the grass and keeping it up. And for the Orange Festival, the crews came, helped a lot. But I asked the Orange Festival the Wednesday before, I said, don't bring any vehicles in the fort because I don't trust the bridge. I got there Friday morning, they had 4 trucks inside the fort. And we need to put something in the CEAs on when somebody's using our facilities, if they can't follow our rules, or they might not be able to use it anymore. Because if the bridge would have caved in with one of them trucks, we'd be buying new trucks and paying somebody's injuries. Thank you.
So you just finished your district now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Executive.
Now, if there's anything else to come before, I think we'll go into the executive session and come back.
Agenda item 2, executive session, discussion pursuant to LRS 4217A2 for the purpose of receiving attorney-client privilege information regarding potential prospective litigation after formal written demand related to parish property rights in and around area commonly known as Jump Basin. Councilmember Edwards.
So, second. Second by Councilman Schultz. Machine open for executive session.
Ms. McCarty?
We're leaving to go into executive session at 4:21 based on my smart phone. We're now back into council meeting at ending our executive session at 4:34 p.m. But no final binding decision was made while we was in executive session. So now we go into.
We're going to go back to suspension, new business, introduction of resolutions where suspension is being sought. I'm going to need that from Rennie. You got one? Okay. I got you. Hold on. It don't matter to me.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the parish president to file suit against the Louisiana Fruit Company and any other party deemed necessary by the parish attorney to resolve certain property right-of-way and easement and servitude rights on and around an area commonly known as Venice Jump Basin, including those rights granted to the Plaquemines Parish Police Jury, Plaquemines Parish government's predecessor in interest, by the Louisiana Fruit Company in 1946, registered in COB 19 Folio 35, in the conveyance records of the Clerk of Court for Plaquemines Parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Whereas on December 16, 2024, the Louisiana Fruit Company, through its attorney of record, claimed that Plaquemines Parish government does not have the right to lease certain property, specifically lots 34 to 41 of the Venice Jump Basin, pursuant to the Plaquemines Parish government's right-of-way and easement agreement granted by the Louisiana Fruit Company in 1946. Whereas previously, on October 31st, 2012, the Louisiana Fruit Company, through its attorney of record, made similar claims that Plaquemines Parish government does not have the right to lease certain properties, specifically lots 47, 48, and 49 of the Venice Jump Basin, pursuant to Plaquemines Parish government's right-of-way and easement agreement granted by the Louisiana Fruit Company in 1946. Whereas the parish attorney has recommended that only formal legal proceedings can resolve this legal dispute. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Plaquemines Parish Council that the parish president is hereby authorized to file suit against Louisiana Fruit Company and any other party deemed necessary by the parish attorney to resolve certain property, right-of-way, and easement and servitude rights on and around an area commonly known as Venice Jump Basin, including those rights granted to the Plaquemines Parish Police Jury, Plaquemines Parish government's predecessor in interest, by the Louisiana Fruit Company in 1946, registered in COB 19, Folio 35, in the conveyance records of the Clerk of Court for Plaquemines Parish. Be it further resolved that the council secretary is hereby authorized and directed to certify and release this resolution, and that parish employees and officials are authorized to carry out the purpose of this resolution, both without further reading and approval by the Plaquemines Parish Council.
A motion to suspend, right?
A motion to add an item to the agenda.
A motion to add this item to the agenda. Motion by Mr. Conover to add this to the agenda. Second. I'll second it. Machines are open.
This is for suspension?
It's for
Or
suspension.
to add the item to.
Who are we missing? McCarty. Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. We have 7 yes. Ms. Patty is out and Dr. Gu is absent. Now we. This is for the suspension.
I need to read the preamble again. A resolution authorizing the parish president to file suit against Louisiana Fruit Company and any other party deemed necessary by the parish attorney to resolve certain property right-of-way and easement and servitude rights on and around an area commonly known as Venice Jump Basin, including those rights granted to the Plaquemines Parish Police Jury, Plaquemines Parish government's predecessor in interest, by the Louisiana Fruit Company in 1946, registered in COB 19 Folio 35 in the conveyance records of the Clerk of Court for Plaquemines Parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And this is just to suspend the rules.
This is suspend the rule.
You need an offer in a second. You need an offer in a second to suspend the rules.
I'll offer them. Can we get a second? We got no votes? What's the problem?
No, go ahead. You offered, Mr. Evans?
I've offered it.
Second.
Been offered. Machine is open. And it passes 6 with George not voting, Patty's present not voting, and Dr. Gu is absent.
Okay.
Next. What are we doing next?
We're waiting to see what they got an issue over there. No, not 7. There was 7 to 1.
If he's not in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he's in here not voting, that's not unanimous.
It is. Everybody who was sitting here voted for the first one, so it's unanimous.
So when I came in, was that the first one or the second vote?
First.
That-
First.
Mitch was
Wait,
sitting right there.
no.
Yeah.
He voted for it.
We
He voted.
on adding to the agenda. Then we just voted on suspending the rules.
And he was here. He was here.
We didn't need unanimous for this last one.
Right.
We need 6.
He was here. So where we at now? I'm sorry.
Yes, it was 6. It was 7-0, yeah. It was.
Yeah, she was not present.
Then the second
Yep.
vote was 6 yeas, 3 absent.
2 absent.
Because Mitch had stepped out, 3 votes.
2 absent.
I call that absent, yeah.
But that didn't need 6 votes, but they got the 6 votes to suspend the rules. Now you have to vote to adopt a resolution that requires majority vote.
And you need 5.
Who, you know, who voted?
I got it all, yeah, no problem. All right, now,
So now we're going to offer it to vote.
Offered by Councilman Condovich. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Newsom. Any, no, it is machine open.
you ready?
We're voting on a suspension.
6 yes. Councilwoman Pat is present, not voting. Dr. Gu is out, and Mitch is out.
That's it.
That's it.
Second.
9-6. Begin voting?
Okay.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, our friend. The Plaquemines Parish Council adjourned.